I was thinking about this when I got the news about Stuart Scott passing away, of Stuart listening. I just wondered, Stuart listening, what would he want to hear? And after watching the outpouring of sympathy, and you had the president and Tiger Woods, you had big name people, media people, I would love to have had Stuart be able to hear what people thought about him. Because I think that you live in this bubble at ESPN, and some of that's by design, but you're there and you don't really know exactly how you're being received. And the fact that you're at ESPN, you're the big kid on the block now. But what Stuart did when he did it is what I remembered, because it wasn't popular in the building. He shook things up. He changed things. He pushed the envelope a little bit. And then he pushed it a whole lot. And at the time, I remember management was trying to prevent another Chris Berman. And they didn't do a very good job. But thankfully, they didn't do a very good job, because Stuart was able to be himself and give you a voice that you'd never heard before. And there were times when I anchored with him when I didn't know what he was saying, but I knew that there were people who did understand what he was saying. And to have the guts and the courage, that's what's remarkable. And I hope we remember Stuart for that, to believe in yourself, because in this cookie-cutter world that we call sportscasting, it's predominantly white male. Stuart went in and wasn't afraid to have a voice. And it was his voice. It was nobody else's voice. It was his. Even when he was told to tone it down. And there are times when I would look and say, I don't get it, or there's no place for that on SportsCenter. But then there were other times when I understood. Man, he's having fun. He had energy. And kids liked him too. And it was a different demographic. And more power to him for never giving in. But more importantly, I hope he's remembered for 7 years of fighting cancer. That's the remarkable part of this. Now, he did great things on SportsCenter, but 7 years of fighting cancer. And I have a friend who worked with him on Monday Night Countdown. He said, you can't imagine what he's going through. I said, what do you mean? He goes, he does chemo and then he'll go do a workout. He's trying to kill cancer. He's trying to kill it back. Cancer's killing him. He wanted to, and that's Stuart, one of the most competitive people I've ever met. He wanted to kill cancer before it killed him. And nobody lived life the way he did while dying. He was living life while dying. And that's, a testament to him. But I couldn't help but think, him hearing all these great things, just if he had one more day to watch TV. I thought about that initially. And a lot of people, and what this brought about, which was amazing yesterday, is I heard from people I used to work with, and they all said, I love you. Because you know what happened? A part of them died. A segment of your life dies a little bit. Because you're thinking about that's 20 years of your life. And the role that you play that you don't even know in people's lives when you host SportsCenter. And you allow us into your room, into your house, into your bedroom, into your family room. That's intimate. And part of us died a little bit because we were there for those 20 years. And watching SportsCenter. Darius Rucker, Hootie and the Blowfish lead singer, reached out to me yesterday. He said, I love you, man. Mike Tirico, heard from him yesterday. I love you. Rich Eisen, I love you. Because we all understand what happened, what it means, what we lived through, watched, experienced. And part of us died. I really believe that. Part of us died. But you know what? Stuart accomplished an awful lot. And what he did that night at the ESPYs, I was there when Jim Valvano got up and gave his Never Give Up. I was there. I didn't think he could even make it up the steps. And he got up there, and all of a sudden, the crowd empowered him. And you could see he had life, even for a moment. He had life. And Stuart, Moramant, who's a lovely woman who puts on the ESPYs, and she said, we're trying to get Stuart out to honor him. We don't know if he can even fly. So to see him walk up those steps that night at the ESPYs, that was what was amazing. Just him walking up there. And we called to see if we could have him on after the ESPYs, and they said he's physically and emotionally spent. He couldn't do it. But they didn't think that he would even be able to make it that night. And if you watch that speech, it brought me back to Jim Valvano. He owned the night. One of the more remarkable, that's best performance Stuart's ever had. And it's in death. He's dying. But he spoke. He owned it. Captured the room. You have big names in there. It's Hollywood. And everybody watched him, listened to him. And he called his daughter up. So, Stuart, booyah.